Hi guys, this is Marvin from shopsadapage.com, and today we are going to do an unboxing and review of the Ekleva DC36 Dashcam, a dashcam that boasts an extreme night vision feature. So let's get into it. We have here the packaging for the Ekleva Dashcam. It doesn't state anywhere on the box, but the model name is Ekleva DC36. So let's see what comes in the package. Inside the box, we have the dashcam here, but we also have here a thank you card from Ekleva with their email and web address. Let me just pull the dashcam on the side for the meantime while we check the other box here. Inside this box, we have the cables. We have the power adapter, which fortunately has a USB port so that you can charge your smartphone or other devices at the same time. The interface of this power adapter is mini USB. We also have here the suction mount for attaching the dashcam to your windshield, and the secondary camera unit here that you can mount at the back of your car. So it has a mounting point here and uses 3.5mm interface for the plug. It also comes with a rubber spacer and mounting screws right here. And lastly, of course, we have the user manual. It is only written in English, but I appreciate the details here, especially the images. And it looks like the instructions are very easy to understand. Now, let's take a look at the Ekleva DC36 Dashcam itself. It's quite heavy and feels premium in the hands and pretty solid all around. The build quality feels really solid and it looks like it's constructed with metal housing on it. The design resembles a smartphone-like feel with some textured lining on both sides. In front, we have a speaker hole here, the reset pin hole, and then we have a dual LED here for fill light, and of course, the massive lens right here which shoots up to 1080p resolution and has a field of view of 170 degrees. It also has 8 infrared night visions LED around it for better low light performance. At the top side, we have the rear camera interface, the mini USB port, and the mounting interface right here. On this side, we just have the warranty sticker, and on this side, we have the micro SD card slot. And here we have the navigation buttons, which has a nice clicky and tactile response when being clicked. As you can see, the lens has a very large protrusion and has this focus ring looking grip, but it actually doesn't rotate or do anything. At the back, we have the 4.0-inch IPS display, which is very nice for its price. It really does look like a smartphone, isn't it? With thick bezels on each side and a very shiny glass display. So right here, we have the navigation menus. We have the mode, up, OK, down, and menu. Overall, I really like the feel, design, and build quality of this dashcam and quite unique compared to most dashcams out there that are made of cheap plastic. But we all know that looks don't matter that much compared to performance, features, and image quality when it comes to dashcams. So let's move on. Now, let's dig in and discuss the settings and features of this dashcam. For this demonstration, I'll just power this up using a power bank. So let's reset this first to default settings. Once done, the dashcam will reboot. Then let's format the micro SD card to make sure everything is in good condition. Alright, so here's the main display. We are currently in recording mode, cyclic recording is enabled, the microphone is enabled, and is currently charging the battery. This dashcam has a built-in battery, so if I remove the power here, it will still work until the battery dies. Let me just power it up again. Once it turns on, it will automatically start recording, and if you want to stop it, just press the OK button once. You have to stop the recording before you can access the settings. Press the mode button to change into photography mode, wherein you can capture screenshots if you want, and press it again to go to file viewer mode. Now, let's check out the features by pressing the menu button. So we have the resolution. You can choose between 1080p, 720p, and VGA. Make sure to set this to 1080p for maximum image quality. And then enable dual camera. We will install that later. And then enable cyclic record, which will record footages continuously and will delete the oldest clip once the memory card is full. You can choose the duration of each clip depending on your preference. The interval record will record clips in between 2 time intervals, but I would recommend cyclic record over this. High dynamic range will in theory should allow the camera to capture balanced exposures between highlights and shadows for better image quality, so it's better to turn this on. You can also set exposure compensation if you think it's necessary, depending on the image quality you are getting, especially during nighttime or extreme sunlight. Motion detection will detect any movement and will record the clip, but unfortunately it will not lock the clip, so it's kinda useless. And then of course you can turn on and off the microphone recording if you want, like if you need privacy, turn it off. But if you want to capture audio when something is happening, obviously you want to turn it on. You can toggle it quickly by pressing the down button once while in recording mode. Date stamp should also be enabled for future reference. Now, gravity sensing, also known as G-sensor, is a very important feature. If this is enabled, when the camera senses any sudden change in movement, like a car crash for example, will automatically lock the current clip, preventing it from being overwritten. You can set the sensitivity to low, medium, or high depending on your preference. Remember, a locked clip will remain on the SD card, and if the card becomes full of locked clips, it will not be able to record any footage anymore. So just bear that in mind. Also, if you want to manually lock the current clip, just press the mode button once while in recording mode. This is useful for cases like if there's something happening in front of your camera that you want to preserve. Parking guard is another security feature that automatically records a 20-second clip and locks it even if the camera or the car engine is turned off. This is a good feature, but I don't recommend this to be turned on at all times as it is very sensitive. Even a slight bump or closing doors will trigger this and will easily make the storage full when always enabled. I recommend using this only when needed, for example, parking in a very unusual or dangerous location. Also, make it a point to delete locked clips from time to time to prevent any issue with storage. The sensitivity of this feature actually makes sense, especially for protection against car nappers or people who like scratching or doing something ill on cars. It will go perfectly hand in hand with the built-in car siren alarm if you have that feature. The only downside is that it will only capture the front view of your car. You can easily toggle this setting by long pressing the down button until the camera icon shows up on the screen. Moving on, you can also set your plate number to show up on the display if you want. And that's about it for the main features. Press the menu button again to go to settings. Here it's pretty much self-explanatory. You can change the LCD brightness, auto power off, frequency, beep sound for the buttons, language, date and time, and enable fill light. Now, the fill light settings is very important because this will enable the night vision mode and the dual LED fill light in front. We're going to test that later, but I would recommend this to be turned on during nighttime or at least set to auto mode. Format will obviously allow you to format the card, especially if it's near full with locked clips. And lastly, we have the reset to default settings option and the version information. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the features and settings of the Ekleva DC36 Dashcam. Now, let's test the gravity sensor here real quick. As you can see, we are currently in recording mode. If it detects some kind of impact, there will be a key symbol here, indicating that this current clip will be locked and will not be overwritten. Again, just a recap before we proceed, we have the microphone icon here. We are in recording mode. Cyclic recording is enabled. It is also charging. We have the time here. Wide dynamic range is enabled as well as the G sensor. Now, let's take a closer look at the secondary camera. As per my testing, the resolution of this is 640 by 480, which is not that great to be honest, but it's still nice to have. It has 4 LEDs that light up when you reverse your car, and as per specifications, this is also waterproof, which makes sense because it will be located outside the car. Once attached to the main unit, you can press the up button to change view depending on your preference. Now, let's move on to camera test. We're going to test it indoors first for a more controlled environment. Right now, all the lights in the room are turned off and the fill light is also turned off. So as you can see, the image quality is very poor and there is a lot of image noise. Now, I am going to turn on the fill light, which will also enable night vision mode. So as you can see, the image is now black and white, but it is very clean in terms of image noise. But unfortunately, you will also lose some details around the corners due to the exposure provided by the LED fill light in front. But bear in mind that this is indoors. We'll test this later outside. As you can see, the fill light is turned on and you can also see that the night vision LEDs are activated. If you set the fill light to auto, it will auto-detect the lighting in the environment and will activate accordingly. Lastly, before we set this up and go outside, here's a wider camera test indoors with all the lights turned off and the fill light turned on. Now, the fill light is turned off. You can clearly see the significant difference between the two. Now that we've discussed everything about the features, settings, and did some indoor tests, it's time to see the real-world performance. In terms of image quality, as you can see, it is pretty good considering the price. Mind you, it's only around 3,000 pesos, so you have to set your expectations right. The overall image quality is okay, the sharpness and colors are decent enough, and you can clearly read plate numbers at close distance. Unfortunately, the highlights are obviously blown out and I cannot see the effect of the wide dynamic range feature here. It should be able to balance the highlights and show some clouds here, but it doesn't. The good thing is the most important details are very clear, like the moving traffic and plate numbers. Here's a quick microphone test for you guys. This is a microphone test for the Ekleva Dashcam. Mic test, mic test, mic test. Now here's some footage with the wide dynamic range is off. To be honest, I don't see any difference in terms of the exposure. The highlights are still blown off as you can see here. When it comes to nighttime performance, I am expecting so much with this camera, since it looks to have a better low light capability than most budget dashcams out there with its massive lens and night vision LEDs. But as per my testing, it didn't stand out as much as I was hoping for. Don't get me wrong, the image quality is certainly decent and there's not much image noise compared to the one we are previously using, which is a Nia Dashcam. I'll show you guys some comparisons later. Looking at these footages, it's very hard to read plate numbers anymore, especially with the blown highlights due to the bright headlights of the vehicles. But overall, it is still usable for other cases such as collisions, traffic issues, and whatnot. The recording you're seeing right now is with the fill light disabled. And now the fill light is turned on. As you can see, it doesn't seem to have any significant difference because obviously, those LEDs in front is not enough to help. I think the fill light and night vision mode is made for when the vehicle is parked in a very dark environment and will be used alongside the parking guard and G sensor so that the camera can capture images clearly even if there's no light available. The rear camera is functional but the footage is not that usable in terms of being able to read plate numbers, not to mention that the camera view is mirrored. During nighttime it gets worse but it can still help capture other details behind the car, which is still always a nice option to have. Lastly, before we wrap this up, you're going to need a decent performing microSD card, especially the ones capable of fast write speeds and at least class 10. For my testing, I used a 32GB class 10 Samsung Evo microSD card. In the manual, it was specifically mentioned to avoid the SanDisk Ultra due to known unreliability. Here are some dashcam comparisons before we end this video so you can have an idea about the difference in terms of image quality in various price points. Alright guys, I'm sorry if this video is quite long, I just wanted to make sure that I've covered everything here. I always have that motto that if you're going to do it right. Just in case I still miss anything, please comment it down below. So to conclude, the Ekleva DC36 Dashcam is quite a dark horse in this price range. It has great build quality, functional features, and decent image quality. However, at this price range of around 3,000 pesos, it certainly has a lot of competition. But if you value the extreme night vision capability of this dashcam, then this would be a decent option. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to check the full article link on the description below. Thanks to Ekleva for sending this in, you can get this from the link on the description below as well. Next video, we have another budget gaming peripheral, so make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you won't miss out. Thank you again for watching, have a great day.